I wrote down here apparently a joke from like that I thought of like before. I separate my notes into the episode that we're on. We're on episode 15 of Left Track, by the way. And the first thing I have written down below that is not something I wrote here. It's something I clearly wrote like months ago, and just says, Pulaski isn't bigoted, she's just cyber critical.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Hate that. Yeah, hate that.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
Welcome
What's
back
the
to
fucking
Left Track, folks.
Yeah. I wanna hear fucking debate lord fucking debate lords in 2020 or my bad, the 24th century. That's what it is. Debate lords in the 24th century, talking about what was it? Circuit critical or whatever?
Yeah, I'm cyber critical. Circuit critical
Cyber
is
critical.
also a
Cyber
good one
cyber
for it.
critical.
I'm cyber critical. I'm not
She
bigoted.
does literally talk about fucking data having crossed wires, and it's just like that feels so bad. All right, sorry, go ahead. We're okay.
Autophilia. Dana, I think you're suffering from AAP.
My god.
Welcome back to Left Trek, folks, your leftist Star Trek podcast. I am, of course, Eric, and I am joined, as always, by Brian and Zot. Say hi, Brian and Zots.
Hi, Brian and
Zots, say hi, Brian and Zots.
Hi, Brian and Zots.
See, this is why we lose retention after like 2 minutes. I'm really on that analytic grind now, and I'm understanding why YouTubers go insane, because they look at like all these graphs and then they're seeing like
line go up is not real. It can't hurt you.
No, but line go down does hurt you. That's the thing, and that's what YouTube shows you, Zots. It shows you line go down. It shows you that all of that marketing you did for the Jesse Gender video was worthless, because it actually tanked your analytics, because people only watched for like a couple seconds and then immediately stopped watching. That's what fucking YouTube shows you. That's all YouTube shows you. It shows you when you're doing bad. It's remarkable.
So what we're saying, Left Trekkers, is tell your friends and family about us. All right, create multiple fucking YouTube accounts and just let's start pumping those numbers up. All right.
That's actually the funny thing too, because the Thought Slime audience is clearly like so nice. It's so kind, because Thought Slime has yet to actually like tweet out the episode, and yet people are going into the comment sections and tweeting, like, commenting for engagement. It's like, that is so wholesome. That is one of the most wholesome things I've ever seen in my entire life. Thank you, Thoughtland, for cultivating your wonderful audience. I got so many things. This is the first time we've been recording since the very end of October. We recorded the episode of Thought Slime at Halloween, even though it only came out last week. Ooh. It was our spooky episode, and the episodes that we watched were genuinely pretty spooky. We had to spark your memory. We had the plasma plague. Everyone remember the plasma plague?
Sort of.
Which was well, there was a plasma plague, you see, Zots, which you might be asking, what's a plasma plague? See, we don't know, and us not knowing is kind of the scariest part of the plasma plague. That's the same episode where Troy gets empregged.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay, yeah. That was weird.
Or Troy gets impregnated by a fairy wandering through the void of space.
Fucking Riker looking for the nearest set of stairs on the fucking Enterprise.
Yeah. The look at your baby's ultrasound scene. There's a so one thing I noticed in that episode is that I had a constant bit that I was doing where I was insisting that this alien creature was a fairy, and no one else was rolling with it, but I just found it so funny that I just kept going with it the entire time, and even included it in the name of the episode.
But didn't you come up with that because wasn't there like a light or something?
Yeah, it's just it's just a little light. The alien, the energy alien that I kept calling a fairy, is just a little light that kind of just was floating through space and caught up with the Enterprise, and then walked around and looked at like a hairy guy sleeping, and then before it found a womb that it just shot itself right into. And then and then because it was growing really fast, it was causing the plasma plague to grow. Again, what's a plasma plague? We don't know.
Still not sure.
And then the other one was Nagilum, where he was the face in space.
The scary face. Oof.
Yeah,
very scary.
But we're now we are now on Left Trek, transitioning to one episode at a time. The episode that we are watching now is season 2, episode 3, Elementary, my dear Data. So we open up and I just want to say that I don't know where I'm cutting this around, but Pulaski isn't bigoted. She's just cybercritical.
Well, I hate that.
So
I still fucking hate that. I can't even, because it's like, once again, just debate lore fucking rhetoric in the 24th century. Like, that's what I want. Like, it's just it would be very funny if that was an actual term in the show, and that's where like the gender critical people got it from. It's like, aha, didn't Pulaski said that she's cybercritical? She doesn't. I'm sorry. Yeah, actually, why am I specifying? We Left Trek is all about lying about what actually happens in the Next Generation.
That's
true. What you're about.
well, also
that is kind of your goal. That's true.
We all
usually tell the truth.
We all routinely lie to Zops about things specifically.
One of us lies and one of us tells the truth.
One of us always lies. It's the person that actually talks about the plot of the episode.
Figure it out.
We open the episode with a shot of the Enterprise on Picard saying that they're 3 days early to a rendezvous with some other ship, and I'm just thinking like, oh, so when they got rid of capitalism, I guess they also got rid of on-time delivery chains. Hi, Eric from Left Trek here. We're about to skip over some content that was actually cut out from the YouTube or SoundCloud upload that you are watching currently, and uploaded to Patreon. So this is also an ad for our Patreon. If you want to hear us get a little sidetracked and talk about some seldom discussed at this point in Next Generation uses for the holodeck, and speculation on those many uses, please go ahead and head over to our Patreon. It's only $3 a month. We have a few things uploaded there. We have special premium episodes, and me and Brian will very soon be uploading our first episode of Left Trek After Dark, where we take a little look at some various Star Trek related things that aren't the main format of the show. Our first episode, we're going to be covering a article about the economy of the Federation, or more specifically, someone criticizing the so-called economy of the Federation in a way that really got under our skin, and so we've ranted about that for a while. It's a lot of fun. There's a bonus episode on the Creepy Geordie that we recorded with Kira Chats. All kinds of good stuff on there, and more to come. The segments that we edited out from previous episodes, and we're looking to do a lot more on there. So please, we would really appreciate your support. It makes Left Trek possible. And now, without further ado, please enjoy the rest of the episode. Welcome to Left Trek. today, this week, I'm as always joined by Brian and Zotz. Say hello, Brian and Zotz.
Hello, Brian and Zotz.
Yay! I don't know how serious. I don't know how serious I am about this bit. We're gonna roll with it,
We're
though.
so stupid. I'm into it.
We're taking it down. After we were on call with Thought Slime for like 4 hours, we decided we're gonna take it down to one episode at a time. So here we are, back with doing one episode at a time. It's season 2,
You
episode
squeezed
3.
2 fucking intros out of me. We better talk about this goddamn episode.
Yeah, we'll get to it maybe someday. As season 2, episode 3, Elementary, My Dear Data, and as discussed, we opened on Picard. They're 3 days early to a rendezvous with some fucking ship. What did they get rid of? On-time delivery chains, just like they got rid of capitalism. Ha ha ha. I can't. No, I'm sorry. This is just an extended bit. There's no way. But yeah. Anyway, why the fuck are they 3 days early for their rendezvous with another ship? like is this also just an excuse to save some time? Is the rendezvous just not that important? Does the rendezvous need to happen in 3 days?
Maybe.
And why are they just in the middle of space too? Can't they just go where the other ship is right now? You know?
Maybe it's because the Enterprise has a better warp drive than the other ship, and so they arrived early because they had a better ability to.
But 3 days is
honestly,
like a long.
point.
3 days is like a long time, though.
Space is big, though.
That's true, but 3 days.
3 days is a. Once again, maybe it's not as fancy as helium, but I think a warp core.
Like the Enterprise. You remember a Conspiracy where they go back to Earth and the Enterprise is like and the Enterprise, it takes like a day for the Enterprise to go back to Earth. Like
that's just because the Earth is in tow by like 15 days.
Okay, so they're just like
from the Enterprise, yeah. It just
so
follows.
The Earth is okay, that makes sense.
Because
it's
they're
just always out of shot.
To be close,
Yeah, all the time.
So it really seems that the Enterprise could have just gone to where the other ship is, but I guess
yes, that's a better question to ask. Is it's like, why couldn't they just warp to the other ship to like whatever?
Yeah, I mean that's what I asked for the beginning. Like, why can't they just go to the other ship? I mean, it's literally a 1-sentence thing at the beginning of the episode just to establish like why they're not doing anything else, and we're already poking holes in it.
Like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Because we need a plot. We need a plot device.
This is literally the first sentence of my notes. Besides the Pulaski isn't bigoted, she's just cyber critical.
Terrible now. I just want to emphasize for everyone.
Yeah, once again,
terrible
no matter, that's the 6th time I've heard that, and I still hate it. I can't.
Geordi called down to Data urgently. It calls him down to engineering to show him that he's been working on a model ship. And like, okay, I don't know how much y'all know about like model ships, but the model ship that he shows, like, that's like a lifelong project that he's like showing off here. He just has it like on his workstation in engineering, and it's like one of the most impressive like miniatures you've ever seen in your entire fucking life. It's like gigantic. It's this fucking gigantic sailing ship that apparently is like the namesake for the ship that they're meeting with. It's called like the Victory or the Victorious or something. Yeah, and so he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give this to the captain. It's like, I don't know how much of this that he like replicated. In which case, like, doesn't a replicated thing like this kind of take away the charm of it? But no, he says that he's been working on this fucking thing. If he's actually been building this model ship, as we know that people do in Star Trek, by the way, you know, this is this is a talked about thing.
People like to have fun.
People love
people.
They love building ships.
Puzzles.
They love building ships.
Oh, ships too.
Little toy ships in and out of bottles. And this miniature literally must have taken, if he was actually like assembling this thing, it must have actually taken him like 10 years. Like he's been working on this miniature for the majority of his adult life, all leading up to, maybe that's why they're willing to wait just in one spot for the Victorious, because like literally everyone has been waiting for whatever this meeting is for like 10 years, and Geordi was just thinking, oh okay, well I'll start this incredibly ambitious model ship project. That model, by the way, I'm excited to learn more about it. I hope there's something about it in the IMDb trivia. That thing must be worth like like $1 million. I'm not even kidding. It's just this most impressive model you've ever seen in your entire fucking life, and Geordi just got it down in engineering. Like, yeah, I've been working on this.
I do kind of wonder like what kind of because it's like they're not like, 'cause you have to like whittle like a little bit, like you have to like carve some of that wood, I imagine, like yourself, like if it's as intricate as they had it. So it's like, how much like do they have like did he like, are the tools different? Like how different would those like wood carving tools be?
Well, we see a wood carving tool that is supposedly very advanced, where it's like, you remember the episode where they kidnapped the children, and that one person's doing the wood carving, and it like reads your mind and like does it for you. I imagine they have some sort of like incredibly accurate laser tool for its. Surely there have been some advancements in the realm of woodcutting, but like, I don't know. Yeah. Well, actually, no. You don't really need to cut wood if you can just like program. I mean, they have like 3D printers that can just make matter. So I don't think you actually need to cut anything.
So there's a lot of shit that's like, you know, made easier because fucking future. That's it. It's future. It's the future, bitch.
Yeah. There's a particular like you never need like a part for something that you need to like make yourself, when you can just replicate it to complete molecular consistency. You can just replicate like the most perfect like part or tool that you would need for anything with a replicator. So like, I imagine that does genuinely cut down quite a bit on the, you know, construction of the model ship. Although it is still an incredibly I'm even more astonished by just the nature.
How little data gives. How little data actually cares.
Well, like how pointless like this prop is being used. Like it's like, I don't know what the prop actually is, and it doesn't seem like it actually is in the fucking IMDb trivia, which I'm devastated by. Like, it literally is just like, oh, it's the fucking a Victory. It's been fucking blah blah blah. Jordy builds a model of the HMS Victory, a sailing ship from the Royal Navy launched in 1965 and still afloat today. Listed as part of the UK's National Historic Fleet. Victory has been the flagship of the First Sea Lord since October 2012, the oldest commissioned warship in the world, and attracts around 350 visitors per year in its role as a museum ship. What about the model? I want to know about the model. Someone has spent their entire life building this beautiful model of this antique sailing ship, and they just brought it out onto this set of this fucking B TV show. Can shows be B? You can B movies. What's a B TV show?
I don't.
Is there an equivalent term for this? I don't know. It's this crappy sci-fi show. And anyway, we're only on the third point now in my notes here. So Jordy calls it down to engineering. He wants to see like his literal life project. He's been working on this fucking sailing ship. He wants to show his life project, but the urgency in the call was because Jordy wanted to go play Sherlock Holmes on the holodeck, and Jordy is Watson and Data is Sherlock Holmes. This is a classic going forward.
I love how like good friends like. And there's one thing that I'm digging about this is that like they make it a point to pair Jordy with Data and like write them as like best friends, like just like throughout the entire thing. Like they're painting together, they're walking, like Jordy's like, yo, I booked us, we're gonna go play video games like now. Like that's like they're just I fucking love that.
I love
that
so much. In the computer lab in the cyber cafe. Yeah, they are. It is established pretty early, like their good friendship. I mean, I think it's established from the point where like, Jordy sieging Data had a paint, and then Riker makes fun of them. Riker does ableism and racism at the same time. It's incredible.
Here's the thing. This episode of Star Trek we watched had Worf in it for a grand total of 30 seconds.
Yeah, he dresses up, and then he doesn't even go into the. They have him dress up in like this cute little like butler outfit.
I'm ready to go on to the. I'm ready to go on to the holodeck.
He just stands outside.
White gloves on, a silver plate with a mint julep on it. It was fucked up.
He actually looks like a fucking like steward. He looks like a butler, and you think like, oh cool, he's gonna spin Moriarty out a window or something. But no, he just stands outside. Like why did he even get dressed up? So we see.
So where were we in the episode?
We were. It's Jordy is working on his amazing spaceship, and Data and Jordy is like, it's time for us to go fucking play Sherlock Holmes. Now, before we go on, I want to ask, how familiar are you two with I don't know what you said, but shut up. How familiar are you two with like the Sherlock Holmes stories? Have you all read Sherlock Holmes, Arthur Conan Doyle? Either you?
No, not really. No,
I have not. Have you, Brian?
I've read a little bit, but not much.
Okay. So I don't know. I'm looking. I'm watching this episode, and we will. I'll point this out when it happens. But there's some things just happen. All right, that's your band. So some things happen in the episode, and I'm just thinking was this actually in like the stories, or these is this like something that happened in the Sherlock Holmes stories? I assume so, because I assume the writers, because of their like weird obsession with Sherlock Holmes, are like Sherlock Holmes nerds, like they love the stories. But are these things? Anyway, hopefully someone will answer in the comments here. But so we get to see actually how they program this, which is somewhat interesting. They ask for like, okay, we want to do a Sherlock Holmes computer, do a Sherlock Holmes story, and I'm going to be Moriarty. I'm sorry. I'm gonna be Watson, and Data's gonna be Sherlock Holmes, and then they just walk in. Data begins like nerding out about all the stuff that like Sherlock Holmes keeps in his house. And here's the first thing: is this in the story? He talks about, Data says specifically like, aha, Sherlock Holmes never collected anything. He had all this shit in his house. He has so much shit in his house. All this shit in his house has a very specific purpose. And it's like, I don't know. It feels like some of these things are a collection. Even some of the things that he points out feel like collections, like the ring that he got. Like, I mean, that's like a reward. That doesn't serve a purpose. That's like a reward, right? Anyway, you can poke holes in that, but regardless, is that part of the story? Does Sherlock Holmes just have a house where like, aha, everything has a neat and tidy purpose? All the junk in here is hypothetically useful for something.
The only one I watched as a media was the Come Addict Bunderbatch one, which
you can just call him Smaug. Everyone knows him as Smaug.
Yeah, Smaug. The Smaug one.
Direct descendant of a bunch of slave owners. Yeah.
Is he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a whole movement or whatever where people are like trying to get him to pay direct reparations to the people that his parents or that his family own.
Have they been successful?
Did they move back from the States or something? Or what?
I don't know. Continue on.
I mean, there were slave owners in many other places, but yeah, Britain did abolish slavery like way sooner than the United States did.
Yeah, true. Okay, so what was?
I don't know way sooner. I don't actually know the years on that. To be fair, hold on.
It was decades.
Did Benedict Cumberbatch ever pay reparations?
According to this, no.
Okay, cool.
God, what was I? Oh yeah, so in that
Barbados. Apparently, the country of Barbados is going after.
Can we talk about the episode?
This is interesting. The actual, I believe the actual country of Barbados was attempting to get Benedict Cumberbatch to pay reparations.
Oh my God. So, anyways, go ahead and watch Sherlock. It's bad. It's bad and has bad people.
It sure is.
Okay. But in that house, it looked like a mess, but there were a bunch of things around. It was like supposed to be like ordered chaos. That's always been kind of the Sherlock character. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's in the book as well.
It was the cocaine. I remember Sherlock did a lot of cocaine.
Yeah. At least cocaine. Yeah. Maybe some other things too. Depends on who you ask. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, what else was opium? Was he? No, because opium puts you to sleep. So I can't.
Yeah.
No, I think he wasn't. Wasn't he an opium addict?
Yeah, I think he was supposed to be an opium addict.
He was an opium addict.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it was? Was it opium? Okay, I could be wrong.
It focuses the mind, Zos.
Well, to calm the mind when you're trying to chill out.
Zos, when you
chills you out quite like black tar Chinese opium from the 19th century.
Zotz, when you initially described this Benedict Cumberbatch situation, I thought there was like maybe like an activist group of like individual people calling on Benedict Cumberbatch to pay reparations. The literal country of Barbados is trying to get Benedict Cumberbatch, like an actual nation, a Caribbean nation is trying to get Benedict Cumberbatch to pay reparations. I think that's incredible. No, it's not your bad for not knowing that. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, that's like how many slaves did his family?
250. 250 slaves. Cumberbatch's great-grandfather purchased a plantation in Barbados in 1928 that held roughly 250 slaves until the practice was abolished a century later. They owned like anywhere from 250 to more slaves for over 100 years.
Wait, did you say 1928?
Sorry, 1728.
1728. Okay.
They purchased in 1728 and then held the property, it seems, until 1833 when slavery was actually abolished. And the Cumberbatch family was compensated a rough sum of 1 million euros or $1.2 billion in modern U.S. money. So they were compensated for the slaves that got taken away from them.
Like all slave owning families were. Yes.
Yeah, and that happened with Haiti too. Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah, I know about that. That's it. So. Wow, he really should probably pay those reparations.
Yeah.
How much are they even asking for it? I mean, he's a very, maybe he just doesn't want to like set the precedent.
He's very rich. He's very rich.
He's a fucking like honestly
he's making that Disney money, you know, in a lot of ways, you know, from Star Trek to fucking. Oh wait, no, I guess Disney doesn't own Star Trek, right? No,
not
Star Wars.
Trek.
Star Wars, Star Trek, same thing.
Oh yeah, let's piss everyone off. You know, and let's keep talking about Benedict Cumberbatch, my favorite character on this episode of Star Trek. We broke Zots.
This
broke Zots.
This is like a recent thing too. This is from January.
Oh my god!
You should probably pay those reparations. It's kind of a bad look.
Hey, Benny. Hey, Benny. You should probably pay those people. Okay?
Probably kick a cool minimum a cool mill over to the country of Barbados, Benny.
Yeah, you know, just
come the fuck on.
I don't know how much money you got, Benny, but like I don't know, a lot of it. You should probably give a lot of it.
He's probably facing backlash from his community because I'm gonna wait till Zaz is not dying.
We're so far removed from the fucking episode.
This has everything to do with the episode because we're gonna be covering racism very shortly.
Holy shit!
Oh yeah, I remember why covering. Yes, okay, understood. Yes.
Benny, please kick $1 million over to the country of Barbados. It's really the least you can do. It is the actual least you can do. Although he's probably facing pressure from a lot of people to not set the precedent that you're responsible for anything that your family has done that you profit off of. No, you are not responsible for anything. No one is. It's all in the past, right, Benny? Right, Benedict Cumberbatch and your thousands of slaves, your thousands of Barbadian slaves. Jesus fucking Christ!
Just send us each $100,000, and this can all go away, Benny. That's a joke.
$100,000, Benny, and we won't publish this episode of Left Trek, where we fucking take you to task.
Yeah, our hyper niche Star Trek podcast. Yeah. You know, you don't want this heat.
You don't want this heat, Benny.
One day we'll get to talk about you, Khan.
Oh, you're right. We're coming for you, Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch, if you have not paid reparations to the country of Barbados by the time we get to Star Trek 2 Into Darkness, then we are fucking coming for your ass. Let me tell you. Or paid us off to the tune of $100,000. You know, yeah. I mean, either or. I'll make sure this episode gets to his agent.
Oh god.
We're gonna get a cease and desist letter where it's just like it's gonna be like you need to take this down. You misrepresented Mr. Cumberbatch in these ways. You need to make these corrections. Like.
The FBI literally just like arrests all of us. We just get arrested for this. Get arrested for blackmail.
Yes, we are just kidding, Mr. Come At It.
I mean, no, you should still pay those fucking reparations.
I mean, you should do that.
All right. Here's how you can get out of this totally more 100% morally acceptable. Pay us $100,000 and then also pay the reparations to the tune of minimum $1.2 million. Then
probably more, maybe like 10 times that. Just saying. Okay, you got it. I know you got it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Benny, can I call you Benny from Fallout New Vegas? Yeah, there's some interest there that's gonna need to be worked out, and you know, that kind of stuff adds up. Benny, I would know. I have a startling amount of credit card debt. So Data says Jordy, subscribe to our Patreon, by the way. Data says Jordy's primary role as like Watson is to write down everything he says for publication, and that's point number 2. Was that in the books? Is that what Watson did in the books? Was that Watson's? I assume so because of just the premise of the episode. Books, yes. Well, no. Was Watson in the books as someone that just fucking wrote down everything that Sherlock Holmes did so that he could publish it in like a newspaper?
I don't know about publish it in a newspaper, but he was there to. I mean, he was the point of view character.
What, like the actual like full on point of view character?
I mean,
is
not entirely, but mostly, yeah.
Is Sherlock Holmes from the perspective of Watson writing down the stories of this brilliant detective that he like hangs out with? Is that what like in fiction the books are?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Interesting. All right. So Data just starts fucking like jamming out on a violin, and Jordy decides to pick up the book and start just like absolutely spitting on the most like elegant and beautiful simping that I have ever heard in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
He just describes like how good Data is playing as a violin. I'm gonna insert a clip here. Sorry, future Eric, you have to insert a clip. I'm gonna insert a clip here of him talking about it because he's really spitting on just how good Data is at playing the violin.
In the hands of some, the violin is a wondrous thing, equally capable of stirring the soul to the heights of bliss as to the depths of despair. But Data, that's incredible. How can you play it like that?
Merely throwing myself into the part, Watson.
But in the hands of my friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the violin ceases to be a musical instrument at all and becomes...
Watson, we're about to have guests.
Data is oh yes, I learned it through AI. I analyzed all of the violin playing, and now I can reproduce the violin playing.
I like the idea of Data just like picking up a violin and then just opening his mouth and making violin noises. I think that would have been better.
Way better.
That would have been way better. It's just like he's not playing it. He's just perfectly making the sound. That's great.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Jordy asks if the way Data is talking is like, Jordy's like, it's just Data starts talking to like the inspectors when they come in. It's like, Mr. Holmes, we have an emergency. This man was robbed by racial slur.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, boy, the '80s were wild.
They had weird feelings about Romani people.
And Data's talking back to them like in Sherlock voice, and Jordy's like, hey, did they actually fucking talk like that? You sound goofy as hell. And Data's like, yeah, no, they ain't talk like this. So the inspector comes in, he gives them a mission. Some like foreign emissary claims that he was robbed by racial slurs. Then Data just like walks over, rips open his jacket, and sees a photograph there and solves the mystery. It's immediately, presumably because that's an actual Sherlock Holmes story. Is it? I don't know. I just wouldn't know. I haven't read it. And again,
Yeah, I
is,
don't
that
know that one.
is that a Sherlock Holmes story? Would Holmes have been able to solve a mystery really easily by just ripping open this guy's jacket instantaneously? Does he do that? Probably not, because that's like the point of contention. Because the moment he does that, Geordi gets super fucking pissed. He pauses the program. He gets up. He fucking leaves. And Data's like, "Wait, I was just about to expose that this guy's trans."
Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Oh yeah, he's like, oh yeah. Well, don't you know the dude's a dude lady, dude lady. And like, okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then question number 4. Is that also in the story? Is that in the story that they're referencing? Is
I don't know.
Is there a trans man in the Sherlock Holmes story? So
Any Sherlock stands in our audience, by the one with Cum Man, let us know.
any specifically any Sherlock fans that were willing to get through like half an hour of us talking about digital masturbation.
I think you need to chop this up, and I think you need to throw part of this on the Patreon. Like, there's no way you leave this in.
Yeah, I think that definitely
out.
taking the porn stuff and putting it on the Patreon would probably be a good.
I'll figure it out. Well, see, now I'm working on a tighter production schedule, which means that I probably won't.
Oh, good. Have fun, everyone.
So they will. It's either just gonna be
we tried
gone.
to talk. We tried to talk them into it. We tried.
It's either gonna be complete, because understand that to do that's like a lot of work. That's like specifically that's a lot of work because I don't use a proper audio editing app. I just use a video editor, and it's hard to like take another section out and make it into like a new file, unless there's an easy way of doing it and I'm just stupid. But who knows. So they get all the way to 10 forward for Geordi to reveal to Data like why he was upset, because Geordi just fucking storms out, and you think that they figure out a solution to this like right there. You're like, okay, well, Geordi is upset that Data is solving all these mysteries too easily because they're just actual Sherlock Holmes mysteries and he just knows them. And also there's like point of contention of like, oh, he knows them because he's a robot. He memorized all of them. It's like, I mean, there's like a lot of them. There's not that many. There are surely a great many real life people for ever since these stories existed that knew or that know that have earnestly memorized like all of the important details of every single one of these stories. So it's not like there's a lot of them. Like Data's ability to memorize like every story ever fucking told throughout all of humanity, that's an impressive robot thing. Being extremely familiar with Sherlock Holmes, like people have careers doing that, just being extremely familiar with Sherlock Holmes. Actually, hold on. Good question. Hold on. Wait.
There are 60 works,
60?
4 novels and 56 short stories.
That ain't a lot.
It ain't a lot.
That ain't a lot. And not a lot at all. But so they really should have seen this coming. Geordi should have seen this coming, and also not, because Geordi is so fucking pissed. Geordi is so pissed.
Was that a blind joke? You fuck.
Shut the fuck up. Jordy absolutely should have seen the situation coming. And shut the fuck up.
Keep doing it.
You're dead. You're assassinated. But this is something that this is something they should have known was gonna happen. But no, they needed to. Jordan needed to storm off so that they could have a conversation in 10 forward, so that Pulaski can overhear them and then be racist to Data. So Pulaski claims that Data, a sentient being possessing super intelligent, super senses, and perfect memorization, as well as like perfect knowledge of all of the Sherlock Holmes stories, Data would have absolutely no chance of solving our actual Sherlock Holmes mysteries, like as if like the Sherlock Holmes stories are like a fucking Turing test or something, like because Data doesn't have a soul.
I imagine Pulaski, like anytime she sees him, like she like tries to like she trying to stick. I bet you she saw him and tried to put a refrigerator magnet on his chest. Like that's the extent of like her hatred for like Data as he exists. That like that's how fucking hateful she would be. She would be like, "Huh, I thought it'd stick," and then like goes off like laughing.
She just does it all the time. It's like she just keeps like a handful of just like little like flat magnets that she just like she just runs up to Data, just like tries to like plop it on his back or like on his face.
It just never gets old for her. Yeah, it just never gets old for her.
And she has this incredibly like smug affect when she's being racist that just makes, racism is bad enough on its own, but it gets all the worse when you're like a smug racist. Like, rarely do you see the smug it's just such a rare sight, the smug bigot, and so until you and then you get Pulaski being like, aha, you wouldn't ever be able to solve a Sherlock Holmes mystery because you don't have a soul. And she's just like smiling.
We humans learn more often from a failure or a mistake than we do from an easy success. But not you. You learn by rote. To you, all is memorization and recitation.
Well, I don't know about all that. Deductive reasoning is one of Data's strengths.
Yes, and Holmes too. But Holmes understood the human soul, the dark flecks that drive us, that turn the innocent into the evil. That understanding is beyond Data.
Now you're just being unfair, Doctor.
I don't think so, Lieutenant. Your artificial friend doesn't have a prayer of solving a Holmes mystery that he hasn't read.
I have read them all.
You see?
Maybe the computer could create one in Holmes' style, one where you wouldn't know the outcome.
As I said, he wouldn't have a prayer.
I accept your challenge, Doctor.
Good for you, Data.
We shall return to the holodeck, where I shall dare it to defeat me. And you, madam, are invited to be a witness.
I wouldn't miss it.
Come.
Like I can't. It is so offensive. I'm a triggered SJW of Pulaski's racism. Like no actual amazing atheist video has upset me like Pulaski being racist to Data. Like she's very good at it.
Baffling. It's like just such an amazing organic supremacist just being like that there's no way they could never replace this motions to self.
Like she literally did Doctor fucking bullshit. Like truth is like on him when with like the fucking little scanny thing when she's first introduced. That is
outrageous. That is the most outrageous scene where she scans him and then goes, oh, could it be? Is there a circuit for butt hurt? Like after she intentionally gets his name wrong. I hate this bitch. I hate her so much.
She's a monster.
She's an actual monster.
She's like, oh, what up? She's like, oh, hey, hey, Dada, and he's just like, I've told you, that's not my name. And she's like, okay, oh, you're right, whatever, frigid air, and then just keeps walking.
He just throws a magnet on him.
Which cat throws a magnet.
Like, can you imagine this happening like in real life? Like, can you imagine thinking like there's okay, Renegade Cut, right? Renegade Cut, Leon, I love your work, but I hate your Pulaski video. Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, and because the point of that, because like people, Leon from Renegade Cut are like, oh well, she's improving, like she gets better. Maybe she does like kind of get better, but mainly like they try to rehab her like way too early when she is definitely not rehabbed. It's like in the last episode where she's like sorry, I'm not used to respecting machines, and she's like, sorry again, I know technically you're alive. Like he like magnifies the darkness, and she still sees darkness because they're in the fucking void, and then she turns around and Picard's like, does it even know how to work these things? And then Data's like, I'm a he, not it. It's like, okay, does he know how to work these things? and I'm sorry, I'm just not used to working next to non-living beings. I'm sorry again. I guess Starfleet means that you're technically a living being, classifies you as a living being, and even you know, and I don't think that I am being disingenuous when I give that phrasing either, because she is being very fucking disrespectful. And the fucking scanning thing where she scans them, that's fucked up. Can you imagine?
No, I see it as it's just like I see it as it's just like, you know, like Data's like, no, I'm alive. In the same way, it's just like, no, I'm a woman. And then like instead of like and then like patting the front of your pants to like check what's between your legs type shit.
Literally, like almost, like actually. I hope it's not insensitive for me to say that this is equivalent. This is an equivalent thing. Like
because she's like, she doesn't believe. She like he states it, and like the thing is, everybody else on the ship agrees with Data. Everyone is just like, no, we've come to accept that like Data is, you know, could be more human than most of us on the ship. You know, like, oh my god.
Yeah, you know, the parallels with transphobia are pretty you know, but ultimately, you know, it's just a generalized kind of bigotry, and you know, it works in all sorts of directions just depending on the situation. So yeah, and they definitely painted her as being a bigot, and that was like the whole thing. And you know, good on them for not doing code of honor with Pulaski, and instead doing you know
Christ.
Instead of doing like an actual understanding of bigotry, but using something fictional as a way of discussing it. Good on them for the ratings.
I don't think they did a very good job.
Is that what it is? Because I mean, I'll take it, because this shit is not subtle.
Like,
it's definitely not subtle. Yeah, no, I really do believe that this is meant to be a criticism of her being a bigot.
Well, I certainly
like,
don't.
100%.
I certainly don't think that we're supposed to like side with Pulaski here. Like, I think that's clear. But like,
but I bet you there are people that do. I guarantee
yeah, for sure.
there are people that are just like, you know, like
100%. There are definitely people who do, but those people are not very good at reading media, and that's you know.
Yeah, well, it's more.
That's what happens.
It's more the people that then like say that like, oh, she was never that bad, and then also she gets redeemed. Like, I don't watch enough of this season to know how much she actually gets redeemed, but no, she was really bad. She was really bad, and she did not start correcting for a very long time. She is certainly not correcting by this fucking episode, and she has been awful for 3 full episodes now.
Like, and it's not, and like, here's the thing, right? Because it's like, this episode proves that it's not just Data, right? This episode proves that it's like any of them.
Yes. No respect
for
Moriarty either.
No respect for Moriarty. Yeah, I didn't want to say it because we haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, also there's like a tactical. There's like a tactical reason that she's not like giving information to Moriarty. I guess that's a sign that we should get back to it.
Yeah, probably.
So Data, Pulaski says, Data, you do not have a high enough IQ to appreciate Sherlock Holmes stories because you don't have a soul. I think she literally says like she literally criticizes his lack of a soul. Like, very, very scientific of you, Doctor. before they even give, so they go back down to the holodeck. Sorry, no. So they go back down to the holodeck, and then they give another command. It's like, okay, make a new Sherlock Holmes story. Make a Sherlock Holmes story in the style of Arthur Conan Doyle, and then they do, and she agrees that would fulfill like her test, because it's a challenge. Like they're challenging one another. It's stated as such.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, yep, that would fulfill my wishes here, absolutely. And so so some kid runs, so they go back to the holodeck.
He might move up from his status as toaster and go up to like food processor or blender.
Here's the thing. So they set up a thing. They set up an agreement, a situation. Pulaski fully agrees with it, and then it starts. Data, some kid is like running in the street, and Data immediately is like, aha, that was a distraction because this other guy is going to get killed by a snake attached to a door chime. And Pulaski like, pause. You instantly solving this mystery is actually proof that you don't have a soul and are just a stupid robot. So even though you have 100% completed you have 100% completed the challenge that I have laid out for you, no, this is actually proof that I was right the entire time. And
those
now
goalposts, they just keep going.
And so apparently this was like two different parts of two different Sherlock Holmes stories, like combined. Again, I don't know shit about Sherlock Holmes. Are you a Sherlock head? Which two stories was this a combination of? Some kid running to distract
Put it in the comment section so we can ignore it.
Hey, please comment. We get all of your comments. Obviously, there's not that many of them, and I get every single one of them, and I love them, and it's incredibly important that you comment. So we cannot be discouraging people from commenting, Zod. It really helps your algorithm. Like and comment and subscribe.
Eric reads them and then tells us about ones that are notable for us, for whatever reason.
I do. You should, of course, all be reading them yourself.
There was a specific one last episode that was for me, and thank you. Thank you. Nice to hear that people like me. Yay!
That, your single comment, Ozma. Sorry for the doxing. Has made it so that Brian is going to start streaming again. Brian, congratulations! Welcome back. Welcome back to Twitch.
Welcome back to Twitch in 2 to 3 weeks when all of the current drama is over. Yay!
when the fucking Hogwarts Legacy campaign ends. And good on Nicotine for that too, honestly.
No, for sure. Much love to Nicotine for all that.
We no longer have to worry about like things aging, because if we're gonna be maintaining like a pretty consistent and quick upload schedule, because we reference stuff. I was editing like these past like 3 batches of episodes that we've been releasing in the last 3 weeks, and and there's some things that's like, oh wow, that hasn't been relevant for ages. Like remember how the Queen fucking dying, like that happened and was a big thing for a week, and just was no one ever talked about ever again.
Yeah, true.
Every time is real fucked. It's been real fucked for a long time. But okay, sorry. So Pulaski claims that Data instantly solving the mystery is 100% proof that he's an idiot without a soul, because it's just 2 parts, 2 Sherlock Holmes stories. Again, sound off in the comments which 2 Sherlock Holmes stories are these a part of? A kid running away for a distraction, and then a guy being assassinated by pulling on a doorbell, which releases a snake. Not a great way to assassinate someone.
No, real shitty, real bad chance of success there.
Really,
just like
a million things.
Dumb, like a dumb idea, you know.
But
maybe it was in the books. I don't know.
Well, yeah, true. But if it is in the books, it is dumb. Like I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong to like assassinate someone, from just like dropping a snake near them. That's like one of the it's like one of the worst ways to kill someone ever. Even if it's like a really, really, really dangerous snake. Like, I don't know, are there any snakes let's assume there's a snake that like will 100% kill you if you got bit by it, especially without like modern anti-venoms. It's a very unreliable way to just like rely on like a scared and captured animal to do something that is reliable. But whatever, this is proof that Data is actually a dummy. She's so completely bigoted that even Data completely surpassing her test, she's like, no, it is proof that I'm right. And she's so fucking smug and shitty about it. I hate her so much. I'll put a clip in right now of her being shitty.
Fraud. You didn't deduce anything. All you did was recognize elements from two different Holmes stories. Fraud.
Reasoning, from the general to the specific. Is that not the very definition of deduction? Is that not the way Sherlock Holmes worked?
Variations on a theme. Now do you see my point? All that he knows is stored in his memory banks. Inspiration, original thought, all the true strength of Holmes. It's not possible for our friend. I'll give you credit for your vast knowledge, but your circuits would just short out if you were confronted with a truly original mystery. It's elementary, dear Data.
Now, wait a minute, Doctor. We'll see whose circuits short out.
Boom. Wasn't she so shitty? Look how shitty she is
so
in that.
shitty.
She's so racist. She's so racist and so smug in her racism. It sucks so much. I actually hate
I like
her.
how like Jordy like continually comes to his like friends like, you know, his it comes to his friend's defense, right? Like she's the and she just like, I feel like she just wants to pat Jordy on the head, you know, like, oh, it's so sweet that you sit that you try to that you sit and eat with it, you know, like
You're half one of them already. She's like,
oh,
she like flicks
God.
his fucking visor off his head with her finger.
Jesus Christ.
So
And
so
everyone are just like, oh, this is okay because it's about robots, and it's just like, oh God. See, and that's the thing. This is good, right? This is good because like I always said, you know, where it's like, oh, if AI ever got to the point where like, you know, it's like Omnic type shit, right? Where it's like, oh no, like you're like, when does a robot become human type shit, right? Like, if, at what stage is that? And for me, it was always like, it doesn't matter. They're fucking machines. I was totally and like Pulaski. There's my Wisconsin accent coming out now. Oh, these edibles. These edibles are hitting. Don't you know?
These edibles are fucking you up, bud.
Pulaski, so Pulaski is smug and racist and it's awful, and so they're like, okay, we need to do another condition for this challenge to actually work out. So before they even give the command that gives like Moriarty his sapience, like we already see him observing them like calling for the arch. Like he's already noticing before he even gets the consciousness. He's already noticing something happening. Like he's already seeing something that he can't. Like I don't know if is that like bad scene continuity or is there's some other implication there. But so they give the parameters so they need to. So the computer is like, all right, make an adversary capable of defeating Data. Now already, you know, it's not. I like to think that I'm not just speaking as someone that's familiar with like, you know, holodeck shenanigans. Maybe it's just like a general like reader of science fiction. Yeah, like it kind of seems inherently like a bad idea to give like the extremely advanced computer the task of creating an artificial intelligence that is capable of defeating the artificial intelligence that you already have. I don't. It seems like nothing really good can come from that, but that's what they do.
So it was framed as a mistake later on in the episode. That Jordy's like, oh, I said this and that it was supposed to be able to beat, and then he has this moment where he's like, I didn't say Sherlock, I said Data. And it's like, oh no.
I didn't even catch that. I didn't even catch that one.
Yeah, like it was supposed to be a mistake. But
okay. That does
but it did
sense.
happen. And it was a mistake.
Okay, yeah. So that actually makes sense. That's interesting. Okay, I didn't miss that. So Moriarty becomes sapient on the fucking spot, and he figures out the arch, which I mean, he's gotta be. He figures out shit real fucking fast. He's like a fucking Hunter x Hunter villain with the amount of time that he's figuring stuff out, right? So it's, he's learning Nen so fast, Zots.
The sigh. Oh, the sigh.
So the girl he's with is like dark magic, and he has a cool line. He's like, "This is dark magic, Moriarty," and he's like, the best kind, I'm sure. It's like fuck yeah, Moriarty, you rule. I love your ass. So Pulaski becomes abducted. She gets abducted either by Moriarty or the NAACP. We're not 100% certain. And Data proves his powers of deduction to Geordi, because Geordi is questioning him. It's like, you only know this because it's from a story. Like Data's like, no, I know this because I can hear their footfalls on this busy London street, and I'm deducing, and his deductions are not like bullshit. People claim that the Sherlock Holmes mysteries are not the example of like a mystery in a story absolutely not being able to be solved, and then they just give you like the information at the end, and you feel like a fucking idiot. Apparently they do lay things out reasonably like a good mystery, but how true is that? I'm not certain. But regardless, they do show some reasonable deduction here. Okay, this is why Data figured it out. This makes sense. But they follow him, and then boom. So the inspector, so they reach a dead end, and they're like, oh, where'd they go? And some inspector comes, and they get Geordi and Data because some guy got murdered, and Data's like, this is irrelevant, we're moving on. And Geordi is like, okay, well, I should actually investigate the body. It's like, oh, it looks like he got strangled from behind by a stranger. And the inspector dude double checks with Data, and thank God he double checked with Data, because Geordi is a big dum dum. Data figures out that he was killed in an act of marital self-defense because his killer was his common-law wife, who didn't want him to beat her after he was just released from prison. It's like, wait, so this was self-defense? There's take her away to some horrible London jail where she can rot and die, or probably just be hanged for murder, which was just marital self-defense. Seems kind of shitty to me. I don't know.
Hey, that's 1800s London, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's what they were going for. But yeah, it is shitty.
Well, I mean, the shitty, I can definitely see that that's a thing that would happen at the time. But it's more surprising. It's like Data's like, yep, arrest this woman. She was defending herself from an abusive husband. Take her to jail. It's like, it's not even relevant to your case. Just move on. All right.
Yeah.
But
maybe just let her go. I don't know. You didn't have to solve that one, did you, Data?
Didn't have to fully solve them. I guess Data doesn't care, because oh, this is the holodeck. Nothing's real.
That's fair.
Data is one of those people that does not care about being evil in the video game. So that's the proof that he's evil or doesn't have a soul. He's willing to choose the mean option in a video game. He's willing to be lawful evil in Pathfinder. So Moriarty makes him visible to Data for a second, and Data is like, aha, he wants to be followed. So they follow Moriarty into some building, and there's a secret laboratory behind a bookcase. And is all this stuff in the original books? Is Moriarty a fucking super villain? Isn't Moriarty famously only in 3 stories? And I know he one. I thought he was in a couple. He was only in one. It's just and it's just because he kills he also kills. Yep. He's really only in one.
Yep.
You're not thinking of the lady, right?
I'm almost certain that it's just one.
How many stories was Moriarty actually in? I think he's in
According to
2.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Moriarty only directly appears in 2 stories. The final
Two.
problem in the Valley of Fear.
He's mentioned
What?
in 5 other stories, so I think he is like a kind of super villain. He's like he's mentioned repeatedly, apparently. Well, repeatedly he's mentioned in 5 stories, but I guess he is like some kind of crime boss. I'm interested. I don't know. Sound off in the comments. How super villain like is Moriarty? Because in this, he's really a fucking super villain.
Any English teachers watching this right now, please.
Any college level English teachers?
Any Anglophiles, please stop watching.
So he's like a super villain in this. He's like, aha, yes, I've always been smarter than fucking Sherlock Holmes. I've always been his equal. Look at my science laboratory. And it's like, okay, so Moriarty is a super villain. All right, granted, that's fine. So yeah, is Moriarty a super villain? Sound off. They share some short banter while Moriarty is telling Data and Geordi. They're like, oh, he knows. I know, me, Moriarty, I know that you're not actually Holmes and Watson. So Moriarty essentially starts like waxing philosophical about him realizing that he's a holodeck character, and talks about how there's a wise and powerful being called Computer that he learns stuff from. He describes that he understands essentially that he's on a ship in space. He draws a picture and we don't see what it is, and he hands it to Data, and Data storms off, and Moriarty's like, why does it frighten you so? And then it's revealed that, oh my god, Moriarty drew a picture of the Enterprise, and Data instantly revealing that instantly recognizing that they have a singularity situation on their hands here. He's like, no, I'm not wasting any time. I've got to go murder this program. I have to go murder this program immediately. But Moriarty has somehow figured out how to do 24th century computer coding and has like control over the ship, basically. It's like he can move the ship around. He can make the holodeck like not be able to close. Like, how did he do this? This would be complicated for like a person living today to do this. He's working off what are these stories set in? 1800s? 1900s?
Yeah, it's 1800s, yeah.
He's working out of like an 1800s view of the world, and he's like doing 24th century computer decrypting that no one can override somehow.
I mean, he's supposed to be able to beat Data, though. That was the parameter. So they just juiced him up. They made him like learn super quick and that kind of stuff. They
juiced him so hard. They really did use him
so hard.
Yeah, so Moriarty as a holodeck character is not supposed to be able to talk to the Arch, and yet he can, and that's how he learned with his supervillain. He's learning technology so much abilities. He learned how to take control of the computer because he can access the Arch. Why can he access the Arch? Like, is the computer like, oh, okay, well, I need to give him like administrator permissions now because Data asked me to. I don't know. It seems there's some holes to poke in this. Like, even if Moriarty is super smart, like why like his entire like being is predicated on his ability to access the computer when by all right he's not supposed to. Like what is the computer just like, aha, a sapient being, now you can access the computer. It's like,
yeah,
what? He's still like a holodeck character.
Like, well, so the thing that they say is that he is Geordi, that Geordi authorized this, right? And so when that's what
I'm asking. Like, so did the computer be like, oh yes, to make this fair, Moriarty needs admin?
Maybe. I think it's more likely that like in somebody's head that they never made clear that he impersonated Geordi because he's like incredibly powerful and should be able to beat Data, and Data can do voice impersonations. That's something else that's supposed to be true. In some other episodes, I don't know if it has happened already, but it's definitely true generally. But anyways, that would be my guess, but it's never really explicitly said. Which they should have done. They should have probably made that a little bit clearer.
Well, like it's really the specificity of it, because if it was just that, like, okay, Moriarty managed to piece a bunch of stuff together, and then or maybe they like left the terminal open for some reason and he was able to like access it, like that is much more reasonable than him being able to summon the Arch by saying Arch, despite the fact that he's a holodeck character. And so also that other holodeck character that he's with, who's not even sapient, can do that. And also he pays attention to the Arch before he even gets to the sapients. So there's some buffoonery going on here. This will be in the goof section in the IMDb trivia, certainly. I'm not gonna look at that. We're not gonna look at it. Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but whatever. That's what it is. If it was just like oh, they left some like panel open and then like Moriarty figured out how to make some kind of machine that can shake the Enterprise around, that to me is like more believable than him being able to just say Arch. Like I don't know why. I guess because it's like it's the difference between like something that has like clear and explained rules that are being violated versus like something that can be like artistically just like reasoned out. But whatever. Data immediately attempts to shut down the program, sees that they got a singularity situation going on, and then they call a grand meeting. They call for a meeting with the captain, and the captain's like, Mied.
Yeah.
Just
Captain says shit in French.
It's like the most French he ever is in the entire show. When he said
yeah,
weird.
it's like that's what like everybody gulped in unison. They're just like, oh shit, he just said he just spoke in French. Oh, this is bad.
now it's getting serious. He code switched back to being French. But Geordi proposes an ingenious idea to wipe away all the holographic. Sorry.
Do you think Patrick Stewart just threw that in? Like, do you think that was like ad-libbed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
Now that you say it, I'm 100% certain that's just ad-libbed. They just wanted to go, yeah. They had to cut immediately afterwards because everyone on the set just fucking laughed their ass off. Geordi has a genius idea to murder all of the holographic characters by channeling up like a particle beam from the warp core down like a bunch of pipes into the holodeck. But I don't know why. I guess it was suggested as a way to delete the program. It was like, surely there's a bunch of other ways to do that, just by cutting power or something. But no, he has to propose the particle beam. Then and then Picard's like, what would that do to Pulaski? Then Jordan's like, oh no, it'd kill her. It'd kill her. She died. She died too.
Oh shit.
Well, actually, the way that he does it specifically, is like. Well, a particle beam does vaporize human flesh. It's like, come on, this probably should have been in your consideration.
That phrasing doesn't make it any better. It doesn't help.
No. It's like, wait. So he's like, he thinks about it more, and it's like,
using waveguides, I could split a particle beam out of the matter-antimatter chamber and run it down through existing conduit into the holodeck. If accelerated to sufficient velocity, that would quite literally wash away all present holographic constructs. The London buildings, the streets, the people, all gone, including Moriarty.
Dr. Pulaski?
Well, a particle beam will tear apart human flesh as well.
Captain.
That vaporized her flesh. She died too. It's weird the way that they bring this up. In the ultimate proof that Data does indeed have a consciousness, the Moriarty, man, my fucking voice to text is really eating shit. I don't even know what I'm saying here. I'm just gonna read my note here. The ultimate proof that Data has consciousness, Adidas says that in order for the computer to create an adversary capable of defeating him, they need to get something that Data also had, which is consciousness. It's like, okay. So the computer gave the guy consciousness. because only a conscious being could defeat Data. They don't really say
Mhm.
anything about like super intelligence. It just kind of implied that like he's already super smart, and then they gave him like a soul. Moriarty somehow has taken like complete control over the computer to the point where he can like shake the fucking ship around and made it impossible for the captain to shut down the holodeck. Again, doesn't make sense. Like, how are you overriding the permissions of the fucking captain? They set it into like some kind of, I don't know, some kind of mode, like diagnostic mode or something. And that made it why it's not happening. Moriarty has like an incredibly detailed drawing of the Enterprise on his chalkboard, for which he's keeping Pulaski in this room with all the science stuff. And there's a chalkboard, and the Enterprise is drawn on it, and it's very detailed. And it is kind of unnerving just seeing like Moriarty, like seeing this holodeck character and having like a fully rendered like Enterprise like on his chalkboard. That kind of spooked me. It's kind of a spooky scene, you know? That's kind of creepy. That's the most effective imagery in this entire episode, and maybe this entire season. So he's trying to get Pulaski to give information, reveals that he knows like who Picard is. Picard, Data, and Worf get into appropriate costumes and go down to the holodeck, and as they open the door, everything's all fucked up. Like, you can see the grid, like the holodeck grid in the sky. There's like fog everywhere. People are like freaking out and suffering and coughing. And so like, God, what the fuck is Moriarty doing to these people? And then the average British person attempts to mug Picard. He's got like no teeth and a 3-inch shiv. Data like grabs his thumb and bring him to his knees, and in pain. They're like, oh, the safety protocols are actually off. And Picard's just staring at this guy, just like going, blimey, me thumb. And Picard's like, he could actually kill me, couldn't he? So we know that's because the safety protocols are off, but they call it here. I don't know what they called it before, if they called it anything before, but they referred to it here as the mortality failsafe, which I like better than safety protocols, but I guess safety protocols.
I like the sound of it better, but safety protocols just like is more broad, right?
It makes more sense. It does make more sense.
Yeah.
Mortality failsafe.
Yeah.
They go to Moriarty's lair. God, I got it. I got a real cough going. They go to Moriarty's lair, and the machine that Moriarty showed off earlier, he has like this big like machine. He's like, aha, I'm luring the captain here with you, and I'm gonna hook him with this. And the hook is this machine. We don't know what it does. It's revealed he pulls a lever on the machine and the whole fucking Enterprise shakes, and that's cool.
That's the emergency brake. That's all it is. He just has the e-brake.
Like, I actually think that's really cool. Like he made some kind of control mechanism for the Enterprise using all this fucking like the whole steampunk bullshit. So he pulls a lever, the whole fucking Enterprise shakes around. But Moriarty apparently understands that he is a hologram and he doesn't exist, and he's taking control of the ship in order for them to not close the program, in order for him to still be alive. So Picard says that the holodeck, this has been retconned, I'm certain, because this is crazy. They explain the holodeck technology better than ever, in more detail than ever, and it's fucking nuts. This absolutely gets decanonized later. So the holodeck does actually, in this episode, create matter. Every single thing in the holodeck is actually matter. It's not photons and force fields, as was said like a million fucking times in Star Trek Voyager. But even though I think Star Trek Voyager is probably correct, well, I don't know. This does make more sense than the photons and force fields thing. But like, whatever. What can you make? Can you make a force field that has the consistency of like various parts of human anatomy? I don't know. That sounds kind of
or know the sweet sound of jazz.
Exactly. So it's the same concept as the transporter, which is that like it's so for some reason matter in the holodeck only has cohesion on the actual holodeck, and this is all retconned a million times over. Moriarty makes the case that he's alive, and Picard's like, Nah, not really. Even though he definitely is alive. So Picard claims that they cannot make holodeck matter into a more permanent form, but really, honestly, seems like they could, with the transporter. Which, I mean, we know they eventually do try to do this in a whole different thing. Don't worry about it. But seems like the transporter is actually a good way of doing that, because it's literally the same thing, except the matter that's created in the holodeck is only there on a holodeck, but you can just create the fucking matter via the transporter. You can just create the same matter via the transporter, and logically, it's gonna be there. You're doing it. It's matter. It's actual matter. It just doesn't have cohesion. You can give it cohesion. This is all like science fiction nonsense, and I'm like taking exception to it, but it really does seem like there's a workaround for this that they're just not considering. But whatever, it's a conceit of the episode. Who fucking cares? So Picard and Moriarty come to some kind of like understanding with one another. Moriarty realizes that Picard doesn't actually know how to help him, and Moriarty, in an exercise of good faith, gives Picard back the ship. And so let's talk about the ending. Moriarty just kind of gives up all of his control as Picard promises that they're gonna we're gonna look into it. We're gonna investigate the ability to make Moriarty a real boy. I feel like they would not be I would not be satisfied with that if I was Moriarty. Like, I definitely wouldn't be content to like assign myself to effective like cybernetic oblivion as Moriarty does.
That's the thing, right? Like, Moriarty was like, that shows that Moriarty has a consciousness, like a real consciousness, because he's able to realize that he could genuinely trust Picard. Like, he got such a good read on Picard and so like that proves that he was conscious, that he has developed a sort of self. Well, because he's able to like see it in Picard enough to know that like, I won't get fucked over if I make this deal.
Well, sorry to spoilers, Zots. Spoilers, Zots. He gets fucked over. Picard explains to like, oh yeah, we can save this program. We'll just save you. And if I was Moriarty in this situation, I'd at least be like, okay, can you keep this holodeck open so I'm not just consigned to nothingness until like some scientist may or may not figure out how to actually make me real. You just keep the holodeck open, like just have a London here that I could just like vibe in and people can come hang out in, like the same thing they do in Voyager, where they have that Irish town. And then they're like and also there's the fact that they've created a new type of artificial life that they haven't seen before, and so you think that they'd be a little bit more interested in it than just like letting it lie in your fucking data banks for like a million years. Just letting this new being just consigned to effective stasis in oblivion, like all the way until a nebulous future where some kind of like a solution is found to solve this problem. I would not be okay with that. Just leave it open. Just leave the fucking thing open. Just have that be Moriarty's room. That's his quarters. You lost one holodeck, you gain one Moriarty's quarters. Like, I don't know. Is this unreasonable? Am I being unreasonable here? I feel like Moriarty probably should have tried to bargain for. That seems like the bare minimum thing that both Moriarty should have bargained for, and what they should have allowed, because it's pretty trivial for them to just have that.
Well, then they'd be down to 15 holodecks, and where would everyone come?
That's true.
That's what I'm asking.
That's true. If we redo the math on that takes away like a solid hour a month from everyone's collective holodeck time.
Yeah, and from everyone.
That's not gonna fly.
No. And also I think that ultimately just leaving an AI, like a really smart AI, running in a box that it can't I can't imagine that Moriarty wouldn't get bored, and it might actually be more comfortable to just be in in kind of a stasis.
Well, that's what it was
they come
supposed to
back,
happen.
They come back. Moriarty is just like changed London into some like desert apocalypse, just sitting on a throne full of skulls.
That's just what it's like now. Yeah, he changes London into its current state, 2023.
Picard, once again, merde.
So that's fucked up. It's hard to talk about this because there is a as we've hinted at many times, Zots, and you'll probably forget this because you're high. There is a follow-up episode to this, which is pretty dark. We won't get into it. So suffice it to say, and for anyone who's watching Star Trek along with us, suffice it to say, this is not a good situation for Moriarty, and it kind of is already apparent that this is not a good situation for Moriarty. It's just kind of thoughtless. They just didn't really think about this bullshit. They didn't think about the implications here.
You'd think at least they'd have like a discussion and be like, well, maybe we'll take you back to Earth and set you up there where you can get like hooked up with like a research team who might actually be able to get you in a body.
That's gotta.
Yeah, and you could just have a permanent like holodeck there on Earth that Moriarty can just live in, like I would. Same thing for me.
Hold on, isn't this like a huge discovery? Like if this has never been done before.
Yes, it's a new type of artificial life that they've created that they now know that they can create, and they're just like, just save it for later. Let's see if we can make him a real boy.
Not only that, but Riker could then get like actually create like that his like fucking holodeck girlfriend.
True.
There you go. Yep.
True. He knows that he can now give the spark of life to the jazz women that he wants to have sex with.
The jazz women. I think the one thing that would have been a good through line for the writers is, and of course, because they didn't know that they were going to be doing this in the future, I don't necessarily blame them. But using Moriarty and essentially taking him back to Earth and having him like become a more well-rounded hologram that can maybe exist outside of a holodeck, then maybe that leads to the Doctor from Voyager.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did they? Don't they? And then like, okay, so like, if I correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm remembering this wrong, in the episode where like they go to like Data's home planet or whatever, or like wherever they found Data, like, isn't Data like the only one of him? I mean, aside from his brother that they meet, but like, is it Star Command cannot recreate Data, right?
No.
So
cannot
like
recreate Data. No.
So this is basically. But they managed to create something that is literally meant to be better than Data. So like the technology, how this technology was used, like the computer on the Enterprise, right, which is once again established as being like the flagship of the Enterprise, right, or of Star Command or whatever the fuck it's called.
Starfleet.
Starfleet, yeah. Star Command is Buzz Lightyear, my man. Starfleet.
I didn't want to correct you because I wanted to see if you could make more funny names for not knowing what Starfleet was called.
So Starfleet. So with the flagship computer AI that Starfleet put on the Enterprise, right, and then with this also state-of-the-art hologram tool that they have. Like they did better than Data. They created like a whole new thing. Like this should like, and they just like put it on a fucking thumb drive.
Well,
and just like throw it in a desk. Like,
so
Zots, you have a very good point here, because also the core issue with like recreating Data is recreating the positronic brain.
Yep.
Which is talked about all the time. Now, you wouldn't need a positronic brain because you have demonstrated that you can create a full consciousness, a fully conscious being through existing conventional technologies. So you don't actually need to bother with a positronic brain. You could just make a brain out of whatever the fuck you just programmed, and then put that into a data body, and then you got androids that are alive like people are. Well, and why
you're missing a small problem. You're missing a small problem here.
What's the problem?
The reason that the positronic brain is so important is because it's compact. This is taking the computer, like a large portion of the computer of the flagship of the Starship Enterprise to actually run it, right? Miniaturization is a huge problem here. Okay, so unless you want to have 10-story tall datas, which I mean, kind of sick in its own way. You can't really get a good replication there. But getting an AI that is a big breakthrough, but it is a different breakthrough than what is going on with data.
I'm gonna reinforce your point, and then I'm going to absolutely crush it. Okay, so Moriarty. So since it's physical matter that's being created on the holodeck, you could also argue that like they just made a person. They just made a very smart person, just like an actual like biological being, and that's not just something that you can just put in like a robot and just have them be able to just like live. Like this is something that only exists because it's created out of like replicated matter rendered through like the RAM of the Enterprise. Now here's your point being destroyed. They literally put the entire like universe as well as like Moriarty and his wife onto like a little thumb drive that they like stick on a shelf in the following episode. So we know
they put it in their junk drawer.
Yeah, so we know that actually miniaturization is not an issue here whatsoever. You can just have a little crystal that's running this person. You have a crystal that's running like that's simulating 2 people and like an entire universe that they can explore. Let alone just having 1 person. That technology exists here.
There's an ongoing simulation in the next one.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the box that they put him in. It's not only him, it's his wife and the adventures that they're going to set forth on the universe. So miniaturization, not an issue here. They can just make artificial beings that are just like full living people.
I guess it's a fantasy show and they just do whatever the fuck they want. There we go.
We've poked so many holes in this episode. I can't believe it.
True.
Now that's a left track, folks. My goodness, we went for a long time. I am definitely gonna have to split this up into a Patreon episode. I said I wouldn't before. Now I have to. We're doing one. We went to one episode to be shorter, and we ended up because we just kept having delightful left track banters. Having delightful left track bants because we're all such good buddies.
Because we got such good chemistry. Three dummies in a room all bitching about a television show. It's great.
Now, final thing before we close out this episode. So you get 10.8 hours a month of holodeck time. And maybe you can get more if people don't use it, but let's be real, everyone's using it 100%. People are probably abusing it and getting more than they should. That's 0.36 hours per day, which is like 20 minutes.
I'm sure there's a black market. Like there's just like they sell. I'm sure there's like a racket that gives shared holodeck time like cigarettes in the joint. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, who knows? I mean that does end up happening in Voyager basically. But here's the question: you only get 10 hours a month. That's like 20 minutes a fucking day on the holodeck. What are you doing with your time? Well, I'll go first. I'm going in like right before I bed to get one out, and then I'm going to sleep. All right, it's someone else.
I'm probably going to be running a D&D campaign. Basically.
Well, I guess if you do 2 hours a week, and then you're using multiple people's time too, so that's a consideration as well.
Yeah, you could do it multiple people, or you could just have one with a bunch of AIs that are all pretty dang good.
Yeah, the solution to this is buddying up, because you bring like 5 people into this holodeck, you're really enhancing the total amount of time that you're holodecking.
You really do, and you could have full days of D&D with the family or the friendly or the whatever.
Yeah,
it'd be sick.
Yeah, and I'm bringing all my friends. It's like, all right, everyone, pair off, or just go do your own thing. We're all in the same holodeck. We can all use our own sections, and hopefully, like, the program doesn't end all of a sudden while I'm like hanging upside down, just completely naked. Who knows what I was getting up to, but then I just fall to the floor in a wet clump.
Oh my god! Just like, covered in slime.
I needed this holodeck time. Yeah, I'm just covered with organic slime. That it's from my girlfriend, slime girl, holodeck created slime girl.
Yeah, everybody just looks over and is like, "Oh, Eric's with the slime girl again."
I just fall like 10 feet to the ground in a pile of goop. A pile of like quickly evaporating goop. So
I come out of some fucking holographic bushes, just sweaty, off to the side.
This is what you gotta do when you have that limited time on your holodeck. This is what you gotta do. You gotta be pairing off in these ways to maximize the time. And then, because now suddenly you're getting like 50, because you spend your time with like 5 people, you're getting like 50 hours of holodeck time or more. So that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I think that's reasonable. Brian, what are you doing with your holodeck time?
I said D&D.
Oh yeah. Oh, just D&D. You can do
I mean,
more.
I'd probably do like some. I don't know. I'd probably get a little freaky with it too, but that might coincide with D&D though.
I guess the limited time question was like, if you only have 20 minutes a day on the holodeck, what are you doing? And I guess the only answer to that is like, well, you're getting a nut out, like, obviously, like what else? Yeah, what else can you do?
20
with
minutes,
a solid 20 minutes a day.
20 minutes is getting a nut out. Although I'm a slow motion. I don't work quickly. Okay,
that's fair. He's gotta save it up for a big once a week session.
Yeah, I mean that's plenty. That's plenty.
Just completely announcing
I'm the ace person on the podcast. I'm not thinking about this all the time. It's amazing.
We just watch a lot more anime than you.
There you go. That's it.
Well, that's as always. That's Left Track, folks.
I never got to tell what I do with my 10 hours.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. No, fuck me. Hey everyone.
No, we're not ending until we get. I didn't know we had. I thought we asked you first. I thought we asked you, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna watch Eric. I'm gonna watch Eric get railed by a slime girl."
Subscribe to the Patreon. You can subscribe to the Patreon. I'll post
tell me what the
hours.
Fuck you're doing with your goddamn holodeck time. What is you're doing with your 10 hours of holodeck time? And we'll put it on the Patreon. You want to find out what Zod does? It's real nasty. Tune in to find out. $3. All right, Zots, give me your sickest, nastiest, not for YouTube Star Trek After Dark. Sorry, Left Trek After Dark. What are you doing with your 10 hours a month on the holodeck? 20 minutes a day. I put a lot of pressure on you, Zots. You better fucking deliver. I swear to God. True, and that's a call to action. Now that's engagement. What are you doing with you get 10 hours a month of holodeck time. Let's assume, for the sake of it, that's not something that you can share with other people. You can't enhance your time. You get 10 hours. That's it. That's 20 minutes a fucking day for 30 days. 10 hours for 30 days. What are you doing? What are you doing with your 10 hours of holodeck time? How are you maximizing your holodeck time. Please make your comments as sick and disgusting as possible. That's Left Track, folks. If all
did
goes
it.
well, we'll see you again next week.
Woo!
Da 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 da. Bye.
Bye.